Saint Augustine commentary on the Gospel of John, chapter 13, verse 26 to 31 following. Now, no one of those at the table knew for what intent he spoke this unto him. For some of them thought, because Judas had the money bag, that Jesus said unto him, Buy those things which we have need of against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. The Lord therefore had also a money box, where he kept the offerings of believers, and distributed to the necessities of his own, and to others who were in need. It was then that the custom of having church money was first introduced, so that thereby we might understand that his precept about taking no thought for the morrow was not a command that no money should be kept by his saints, but that God should not be served for any such end, and that the doing of what is right should not be held in abeyance through the fear of want. Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. For the apostle also has this foresight for the future when he says, If any believer has widows, let him give them enough, that the church may not be burdened, that it may have enough for them that are widows indeed. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 16. He then, having received the morsel of bread, went immediately out, and it was night. And he that went out was himself the night. Therefore, when the night was gone out, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified. The day therefore uttered speech unto the day. That is, Christ did so to his faithful disciples, that they might hear and love him as his followers. And the night showed knowledge unto the night. Psalm 19, verse 2. That is, Judas did so to the unbelieving Jews, that they might come as his persecutors and make him their prisoner. But now, in considering these words of the Lord, which were addressed to the godly before his arrest by the ungodly, special attention on the part of the hearer is required, and therefore it will be more becoming in the preacher, instead of hurriedly considering them now, to defer them till a future occasion. Chapter 13, verse 31 to 32, Tractatus 63. Let us give our minds best attention, and with the Lord's help seek after God. The language of the divine hymn is, Seek God, and your soul shall live. Psalm 69, verse 32. Let us search for that which needs to be discovered, and into that which has been discovered. He whom we need to discover is concealed, in order to be sought after, and when found is infinite, in order still to be the object of our search. Hence it is elsewhere said, Seek his face evermore. Psalm 105, verse 4. For he satisfies the seeker to the utmost of his capacity, and makes the finder still more capable, that he may seek to be filled anew, according to the growth of his ability to receive. Therefore, it was not said, Seek his face evermore, in the same sense as of certain others who are always learning and never coming to a knowledge of the truth. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. But rather, as the preacher says, when a man has finished, then he begins. Ecclesiasticus chapter 18, verse 7. Till we reach that life where we shall be so filled that our natures shall attain their utmost capacity, because we shall have arrived at perfection and no longer be aiming at more. For then all that can satisfy us will be revealed to our eyes. But here let us always be seeking, and let our reward in finding put no end to our searching. For we do not say that it will not be so always, because it is only so here, but that here we must always be seeking, lest at any time we should imagine that here we can never cease from seeking. For those of whom it is said that they are always learning and never coming to a knowledge of the truth, are here indeed always learning. But when they depart this life, they will no longer be learning, but receiving the reward of their error. For the words, always learning and never coming to a knowledge of the truth, mean, as it were, always walking and never getting into the road. Let us, on the other hand, be walking always in the way, till we reach the end to which it leads. Let us nowhere tarry in it till we reach the proper place of abode, and so we shall both persevere in our seeking and be making some attainments in our finding, and thus seeking and finding be passing on to that which remains, till the very end of all seeking shall be reached in that world, where perfection shall admit of no further effort at advancement. Let these prefatory remarks, dearly beloved, make your charity attentive to this discourse of our Lord's, which he addressed to the disciples before his passion. For it is profound in itself, and where in particular the preacher purposed to expend much labor, the hearer ought not to be remiss in attention. What is it then that the Lord says after that Judas went out to do quickly what he purposed doing, namely betraying the Lord? What says the day when the night had gone out? What says the Redeemer when the seller had departed? Now, he says, is the Son of Man glorified. Why now? It was not, was it, merely that his betrayer was gone out and that those were at hand who were to seize and slay him? Is it thus that he is now glorified, to wit, that his deeper humiliation is approaching, that over him are impending both bounds and judgment and condemnation, and mocking and crucifixion and death? Is this glorification, or rather humiliation? Even when he was working miracles, does not this very John say to him, the Spirit was not yet given, because that Jesus was not yet glorified? Chapter 7, verse 39. Even then, therefore, when he was raising the dead, he was not yet glorified. And is he glorified now when drawing near in his own person and to death? He was not yet glorified when acting as God. And is he glorified in going to suffer as man? It would be strange if it were this that God, the great Master, signified and taught in such words. We must ascend higher to unveil the words of the Highest, who reveals himself somewhat that we may find him, and anon hides himself that we may seek him, and so press on step by step, as it were, from discoveries already made to those that still await us. I get here a sight of something that prefigures a great reality. Judas went out and Jesus is glorified. The son of perdition went out and the Son of Man is glorified. He it was that had gone out, on whose account it had been said to all, and you are clean, but not all. Verse 10. When, therefore, the unclean one departed, all that remained were clean, and continued with their cleanser. Something like this will it be when this world shall have been conquered by Christ and shall have passed away, and there shall be no one that is unclean remaining among his people. When the tares having been separated from the wheat, the righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Matthew chapter 13, verse 43.